Welcome back, everybody. KK's Corner here with KK as well. What's good? What's good, K? How your week?
Boy, what's going on?
Yeah, writing.
I know you're a workaholic. I'm a playeraholic.
For everybody out there, I'm working on my dissertation, so I should be writing this book right now, but instead I'm trying to kick it with the homies. But it's all for a good cause. We getting our swag together, getting our kind of groove in the podcast world.
Yeah, I mean, we coming along. I just watch you people, so it excited me about the podcast. Just watching that and watch where they started from and where they ended, gave me hope. So y'all people make it happen, man.
Man, and keep the questions coming in. Keep the questions coming in. So what's up? What you been doing? What you drinking? First of all, I saw you take a sip before we started.
Tequila.
That's not a shot. That's a glass.
Hey man, I'm sipping.
Little Tuesday, little Wednesday sip.
This week been full of action, just off of everything, man. I will first want to, give my rest in peace to Ricky Smiley's son and Tyree Nichols. It's been a horrible week, so I'm really pissed that Tyree Nichols didn't go.
I gotta say, I've had a hard time. I have not watched it yet. And it's not because I always watch videos. I probably watch more shit than I should, but like I was exhausted this week and I couldn't, it's selfishly, I couldn't emotionally do it because we do it so much. We have to go through it so much. And it was like, I've been reading about it and reading kind of around it, but it was just like I couldn't. I know I was gonna have to, you have to throw your emotion into it, especially because we are Black people. Like this is something that like could happen to us easily without recourse and without the world, anybody, the city blinking an eye.
Yeah, I saw a little bits and pieces on the news, but I was really upset because it's kind of like we get irate when there's a white cop. You got 4 or 5 Black cops beating up a brother. So I don't, when they say it's not black or white, it's blue, that made me feel like that was true. I don't want nobody to die by the hands of nobody. That was an angry crime. Like they were angry about something. And I really just, and then another side of it too was that they were prosecuted like that. They took care of him just like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So on that, one of the things I was thinking about, and I'd love to get your perspective on it. Something that I was really thinking about is that the United States is judged on, as race is concerned, it's judged on white being here and Black being the bottom. And so there's a lot of theory about how Black, like somebody immigrates to the United States, you just need to like it's a kind of common knowledge that you just need to be perceived better than Black people. Okay. Do you agree with me? Like that's kind of how things have gone.
I mean, that's how for a minute, man.
Yeah, and I just want to like to establish that base. So my thought was this week, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, within a range, I think that they are in certain ways building a range of punishment for police, and this being the bottom, so that these Black cops. I'm not saying. I mean, listen,
they're gonna get an example out of baby.
And so other officers can see that this is the bottom line. This is the lowest that can ever be treated because it was 5 Black cops, or and so this is it's like if George Floyd's murder and that cop, if that is the white example, this is the Black example, and this is the range in which cops can understand their punishment scale for killing somebody. Black. Maybe that's what I'm saying. So I just wanted to get I was thinking about that today or this past week. I just like What do you think about that? Is that an odd or is that an odd thought?
Oh, you know, you always come off the wall. Did you smoke or something? Yeah, you know, when you be off the wall, you don't be catching me with that. But I really didn't think about the range of how it's gonna be handled for the cops. But all I see is that they're trying to pass laws to, you know, manage the cops and their brutality and how they treat black people. But I don't think it could really be managed. I think most of they scary as fuck. That's all. They beat on people that they couldn't beat in high school. They jack off to that shit. So that's why, you know, when they pull me over black, white, Spanish, Haitian, I don't care. I'm gonna be real respectful because number one, if they feel like they're authority and you do one thing wrong, they're gonna try and beat you. Even if you don't do nothing wrong, they're gonna try and beat you. So just let me go ahead and be yes, sir, no, sir, and get the fuck up out of there, man. I want to go home at night. You feel me?
I
So
agree.
it's just simple as that. Like respect people's lives. It ain't that serious. You want to beat up on a bitch, go to the boxing ring.
Well, I mean, listen, that's this is that is the I don't even know how to call it. That's the American way to beat up on somebody that's helpless. You know, whether it's
Mexican cops versus black guys. They gonna get their ass whooped. That's why they don't want no problem.
exactly. The other thing I wanted to bring up, I was thinking about within this is there's an issue here in Los Angeles with gangs within different units of the police, right? And so there's several websites dedicated to it. I'm remiss right now because there's some Twitter feeds that are really like trying to police the police out here.
Let's talk about Twitter. Bitch, I had a blue check and Elon motherfucking blocked me off of Twitter. I ain't paying shit, no. Okay, now you go.
First of all, how bad Elon?
Content, nigga, done lost your mind.
Elon out here blocking fools.
Right.
Soft. That's soft, dog. It's weak. It's weak.
Green.
All right, let me. We had a little difficulty, but I wanted to throw this at you. In Los Angeles, there's a huge gang problem within. There's several police gangs within different precincts, and it's widely known. And so, you know, as I was telling you, I follow some sites that are trying to police the police out here, and to me, it felt like with the Memphis police, which I mean, I know you lived in Nashville for a good amount of time, and I know you've probably been to Memphis a bunch of times, so you've at least seen how that kind of city flows. But I'm really kind of curious, for it to be kind of known that these cops are this way in those neighborhoods, I'm almost curious if they ran like a gang, you know what I'm saying? And that they were kind of they were Deboing and Nino Brown in the block a little bit, because it seems like, for that to be that harsh, that they, clearly, I don't think it's a stretch to say they've done this before, but for it to not be in any way seriously punished, and for them to be so callous with it, it seems that like it's a pattern, and that seems like gang patterns. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, one thing I can say about the police in Miami, like at this age where I'm at, I know a lot of the police officers. My uncle was a sergeant back in the 90s. So I met a lot of police officers. Like all those people who played on First 38, I know them. Like they're like normal people. Like they hang out with people, they chill with people. Like it's kind of like they're trying to bridge the gap a little bit. You still have those few people that do their thing or whatever the case may be. But I really think like if they bridge the gap with the community, stakeholders in the community, all communities would be better, because you have to have some trust into that. The reason why shit happen like that is because there's no trust with the people who's supposed to be protecting and serving us. You understand? If that shit changed and communities get trust in there, then y'all need to take them scary ass people to their neighborhoods. If I guarantee you, if a lot of white cops worked in their neighborhoods and a lot of black cops worked in their neighborhoods, it'll be more safe because number one, you feel like you got some ownership into that place that you're securing. He won't do that shit around you the way he'll do it around Jose. You understand what I'm saying? They'll have some type of respect. But see, people not putting it together like that. You're putting scary ass people in these black neighborhoods, and you're putting people that don't respect people in these neighborhoods, so they gonna stop you, they gonna disrespect you, they gonna think you don't belong. But if you know everybody in that neighborhood, I grew up in this neighborhood, I'm leasing this neighborhood, then when Miss Mary sitting over there, she looked like she in distress. You already knew how she looked when she was happy. So you just gonna check on GP. That shit crazy, dog. They don't think.
But I like the only pushback I'll give on that is that I think that they are not trying to connect, especially with the community anymore. Right. I think that, like, I think those are all like, that's how it should be. Yeah. But I think that the initiative now is especially to militarize. All these police budgets go up and they buy military equipment. They don't spend any money. And so they're telling you they're trying to militarize. And what they do in the military is they come in and they control blocks. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they fail to realize these young gangsters got the same shit they got. So if you want to bang, bang, shoot, that shit could go on for years, decades, whatever. And then people want to go home. So if you don't want to go home, keep that approach. Keep going with that approach. Keep beating us, because sooner or later, they're going to say, you ain't touching me no more. And that's how I look at it. That's why I say my black ass in the house.
Hey, 100%. I agree with you on both ends. That's why I can't stay in the house. And
right,
there's a breaking point. Yeah,
man. Let's get on this same militant shit. And this shit gonna make me drink like 3. I'm almost done with my cup fucking with you tonight.
Well, you know how I do. Sometimes I just go down the road and it's gonna be
No, I know.
All right. Let's take it.
My weekend was a little slow, I had to work a little bit, but I got a chance to watch the movie, You People. And my favorite shit to watch on TV is BML. 50 got him something with that. I'm telling you, he got himself something.
What season is on? I don't watch it. I would have to admit.
I like that gangster drug shit, bro.
I just got burnt out with it.
I was raised in that era. Like when Meech them came to Miami, dog, I was there. Literally. My cousin was the fucking promoter and ran that King of Diamond fights. They the one got the King of Diamond fight stuff done. That's why I said I gotta bring my cousin Evie on this shit. My cousin, what I say when she was the Hall of Fame at UM, her and her little entertainment group started the King of Diamond fights. They the ones got the sanction, they the ones did everything. And to be in them days, dog, I felt like I was rich like them niggas. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
My thing is, I grew up in Ohio, and so it was my dream to just come to Miami. It was like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. That was the first time I was having this conversation the other day. The first time I saw cocaine was I was in graduate school in Miami, and I went in the bathroom. I seen a little bit here and there, this stuff. Everybody smokes weed. This is whatever. But I saw cocaine. I was at a club, South Beach, and this was, like 1999. So South Beach was like, what people don't realize is how much has changed over the last 24, 25 years. I could still find free parking in 99 on South Beach. That's how like it was still like. So I'm gonna.
Yeah. Tremont having a fucking field day, dog. Come right. Listen, they done changed it to its only buses can't even drive down the street. They got the buses not even going on certain streets like Washington. I think no bus go down there. They changed all that to valet parking, and it's one lane going up, one lane coming back. Shit ugly.
Look, back in 99, I went to the bathroom. It was like, I think it was probably like club level, which turned into mansion, which turned, all that shit. And I see, I'm taking a piss, and I'm like, there's 2 dudes come in, and they just set up some coke on the counter. I'm like, Oh, they doing coke.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh,
Oh yeah.
my country had never seen shit like
You in, boy. You got some music
that.
on. You know what I'm saying? That was it. Back then it was, all that shit be recreational when you in cities, big cities like that. But I'm too fat to do coke, so
Yeah.
you can tell I ain't never did that. Plus my pinky finger cute. Hey, nah, man.
Oh man, no, I gotta. Okay, so I need to. That's on my list. I gotta watch some stuff for the university, but
First of all, you
I
gotta do the documentary, the BMF that 50 Cent did, the documentary. Then you gotta do the show. You'll see how they totally like different stuff. But I love Da Vinci. I love Lil Meech. Hey man, the whole thing is raw. Like it makes you feel like what that movie was. The little show, The Wire. It's kind of like
oh
it's kind of like The Wire for me. If y'all, hey, please y'all bring back The Wire. Please, anybody hear me out there? But I love The Wire.
that's
Listen, during the pandemic, I started over from episode 1 all the way through. I think it took me a week.
I did it too. I ran through it early in the pandemic. I did it. It was the third time I did it. I watched that show, and it's still like it's just so on the nose. It's just from my nerd stuff to like how the scenes play out and everything. It's just engaging in every way. That's like it's just and then it just to open up the world from like you start with this small space of what we're seeing in the drug game to how it opens up and so you can see how the machine works to a certain extent. That's top five. That's easy top five.
Yeah, better believe it. Man, like I say, this week been like really crazy. So, did the teams we predict last week made it to the Super Bowl? Yeah. I think I should put some money down, fool.
That's
Go ahead.
that's look. I'm lucky. I'm in a state I can't gamble because I would have done some shit and been sweating through games.
Bro, I told you when I went to the Hard Rock over the vacation for it, they hit my ass so hard. All I had to do was eat the free food. I got black card friends, so they feed you and you could drink all day from I think from 4 to 10 or something like that. Man, I made sure I was like going to the bathroom, using the bathroom. I'm gonna eat all this shit as much as y'all made me lose. Yeah, man. Listen, so I'm not really a gambler, but when I do go to the Hard Rock, I gotta try to, do my thing a little. They'll
Make
give
it
you a
interesting.
little,
Make it interesting.
they'll take a little, then they'll give you a lot, then they'll take all your shit. Man, you gotta know when to get up and leave, but I was staying there, so it's kind of like when the food closed, what else you gonna do?
Yeah,
You know
for
what I'm
real.
saying? Man, I should have got
So
up.
okay, yeah, but we both said Philly and Kansas City.
We
I
did.
mean, I felt bad.
It's a
Go
tough
ahead.
question. Can you like to win?
Man,
Yeah.
we got two. We got. I'm not gonna put my final
I'm going with Jalen
prediction.
Hurts.
I am too. That's what I was gonna say. I think Philly, just
I ain't
all
gotta talk.
around.
I ain't gotta talk about it. I ain't gotta think about it. I'm going with Jalen Hurts. And if I lose, I'm still going with Jalen Hurts. Because Jalen was hurt when Alabama sat him on a bench.
And still balled at Oklahoma.
Right. I'm going with Jalen Hurts. You know why I'm going with Jalen Hurts? One reason is they can sit out 2 weeks, whatever. I still don't think Patrick Mahomes is ready for that fire from the Eagles defense that's gonna be at his ass. He's still limping, and then they was laying on it. They was doing everything in that game to try and win. And big ups to Burrows to Cincinnati, man. I thought y'all were gonna put it out, but I was gonna say my prediction was wrong. But 2 years in a row, y'all couldn't do it. Y'all couldn't do it. So
Cincinnati's future looks good though.
but the simple reason is I'm flying with them next year. For sure. I'm just gonna fly with Philly. It is what it is. I ain't buying no jersey or nothing. I'm still a Dolphin fan. Whatever Super Bowl party I'm going to, I'm in Dolphin shit. Hey, and we need to tell Jackson, if you listening, salary cap going up. You come to Miami, we have the fastest defense and fastest offense in the world, boy.
I believe that's tampering.
But if they make it over there, that nigga better have me as his go-to one. Keep you out of trouble, bro.
I can't say Philly fully. I'm leaning towards Philly right now. I'm leaning towards
You want to
Philly.
do a friendly ways and 10 push-ups? What you want? Who you like?
Listen. We call that next Wednesday. We call it before the game. We got 2 weeks for the game.
I said what I said. I'm gonna say the same shit next week.
I might. To make it interesting. I guess I'll take Kansas City. Make it interesting.
You take Kansas City?
Yeah, make it interesting.
You Philly-ish right now with me.
Yeah, I am.
Next week you make your mind up.
I feel like you're right though. I feel like, I mean, they shot. How much can you shoot Patrick Mahomes up with an ankle to keep him moving? That Philly defense is no pump.
It's helicopter zone shots. His dick that night, he was on helicopter zone shots.
I mean, because he's still bald. But yeah, like you don't go from a.
Think about it. I keep telling you, he's unorthodox. He don't give a damn how you got to throw the ball. He'll throw that bitch between his legs, falling on the floor. He still make it happen. I just like his will to make the plays is great. But I just think overall, like the Philly team, they hungry as shit, and I think they got chips on their shoulders. So I'm going to Philly.
That's what I love about Jalen Hurts, though. I love that he's humble, but he's bitter. You know he's bitter. You know he's bitter, and all he's been doing, he's only won everywhere.
Like that girlfriend you cheated on that got a husband, but every time she see you, like.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, man.
Oh man, I gotta give a shout out to Joe Burrow though, just because he's from South Ohio. I'm from Ohio. I'm not a Bengals fan, but that dude's got a future. They got a future. Like if they can keep those receivers too, they got a future because
I'm telling you, I love Chase, man.
Yeah.
That boy golden. I love Chase. I would love to see him in there, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Plus, I feel like in the
moves right now, like as soon as this offseason come, I'm super excited. And yeah, I'm gonna be super excited because I need to see what my fans got going on. Because number one, I heard we changing our defensive coordinator. And I can't say who it is yet because it's not confirmed, but they threw out a couple names. I'm just like, okay. Whew. We gotta get rid of like 2 niggas that think they shit don't stink to get what we need. You know how I feel about that. Fuck them.
Yeah, hey, it's business. Like I'm excited the next couple of years of football because I feel like we had like it's at a place where there's just so much talent that it's just gonna be exciting. Because there's been a couple years where I'm like, there's a few teams you like to watch, but I feel like it's coming around where there's just so many teams that you can watch on any Sunday.
That's a part of that shit. And I'm looking like right now we got the NBA game on. Niggas ain't playing.
Okay, it's Lakers game, right?
Nah, they got the Heat playing somebody right here.
Oh, you got Heat on here.
And I love my Miami teams. You already know I told you that. But hey man, I had good news this week though. My nephew in Georgia, Champ Thompson, he signed with Clemson. He was a UM.
Oh, I saw.
He was a UM boy. I was asleep Saturday night and I got calls. I got FaceTimes, calls, texts, everything. Because I guess he wanted to, share the news with me, but I just told him do what you do, do exactly what you do. So I've been trying to get his dad on the show because he got so much to talk about. He's not available today. So, that was gonna be a guest for, the people so they could share the story, especially for the parents who have these top tier high school football guys. Um,
So you were about to say we had a little audio to show everybody, but you're about to say about financial literacy for the students over at your school.
yeah, no, I'm trying to get the financial literacy over there so the kids can understand how to deal with all the things that's gonna be coming at them. Being that, in Miami, we got a lot of high profile athletes and a lot of schools be wanting them. And the parents don't understand, the kids don't understand. So if we bring all that together, they'll know how to deal with, the things that's coming to them, how to save money, how to get insurance, how to make sure their family is always taken care of, whether they do 2, 3 years in the league and don't make it no more. But, most kids don't understand that once they go to one of these big universities and they throwing the money at them, they blow that shit fast. They blowing money fast. BMF, I'm on that. But I'm saying they be blowing it fast. And then when you look at it, most of these kids come out of high school making more money than their parents. So they don't understand how their parents have to suffice certain things to make it where the kids don't really have to worry about nothing. But you talking about kids that ain't never had shit. So if you teach them financial literacy and how to, live up to whatever and how to save money and how to look towards the future, because ain't nothing forever. And then once we get that down pat, you give back to the community, you do write-offs, you teach them everything so that they can get whatever they need for longevity instead of for right now. But that's what I'm on, literally. So I'm
I
trying
mean,
to
so what does that look like in high schools? I mean, I already know it's already difficult. These are very young people. I mean, when you go to college or university, you're really young. You know what I mean? Especially as far as life experience. But like, this is even younger. So what does that look like? Is it a class? Is it what kind of course is it?
well, basically, you have people coming and talk to them, giving them the paperwork, literally like people that look like you and me, walking up in the room. A lot of people don't respect people that come in suits. They automatically think, hey, you rich, you this or you that, how you come in. But if you get somebody that they can identify with, that been there, that did that done blew money, that don't have nothing set up, people that they've seen. Like you could look at NFL players right now. They may made it to get the league, whatever they give them after they retire, whatever. But you talking about people who saved their money the whole time they was in the league, people who put life insurances down, who put certain money away to keep making money as they go. Don't spend what they have. You got to put people in front of them that they can recognize with, and people who know what they talking about. Because at the end of the day, if you sending a person in there with their gold chains or somebody in a suit, they not gonna really. They gonna look at the flashy stuff. I don't want them to look at the flashy stuff. I want them to look at people who literally, like I read an interview that it said Chad Johnson, he eats McDonald's, he wore fake jewelry, and he did certain things when he was in the league. So you got to think about it, how long he was in the league, how much money he got saved up. And he's like a perfect person to come talk to them about certain things. But like I said, they have to understand that when you're in the league, some people will never see that type of money again in their life. You got to find a way to put some of that shit away and not want to buy everything a house, a Maserati every 3 weeks. Stop trying to live like rappers. You feel me?
I mean, but I think I saw the same article as you because it said something to the effect of Chad Johnson saved like 80% of his money that he made in the league. And I mean, I think that's, you know, I'm on my stuff, man.
Like bananas, because I can't save 80% out of nothing.
Right.
We
I
do,
think
but
that
you gotta pay bills.
we're such a visual culture. And so it is the idea that like all of these material things that we can put on our bodies to show that we have wealth kind of dominates people's thought. And so, it's even though a house is a better investment than a car, people are more concerned with cars because you can't just bring the club to your house. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you can pull up in a car, have gold, and you can show people your status through this kind of thing. Whereas, you know, at the end of the day, that it equals nothing when, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it equals nothing in 10, 15 years. I also think, there's a big, and I'm sure, when we have your friend on, um, there's a big piece of this is people have been training, young athletes in all parts of the country have been training all their life for this one kind of life. And so once it's done, where do you go? Where do you go? What do you do with your life? How do you, and especially with football, with American football, because you can't even go on the weekends and like play kind of, you know what I'm saying? You can't just, oh, we're gonna get 22 people together and start playing tackle football on the street. Like you can't, you know.
You know what I always say about the hood and people playing? Like in the hood, these kids feel like they have to play football to get out. In most areas, they want to play football. So it's a total different from being here and struggling and not knowing what ends meet, because that's why these kids feel like that. So once you teach them, once you get out of this predicament, how to make sure the next person don't grow up in that same predicament. You know me, most people always ask what you did after that or what you doing after South Beach told or this and that and the other. I feel like it's my job to make sure a lot of people don't come up like we came up. I'm not saying we came up bad. My mom was a great mom. You know, my dad been in prison for since I was in 8th grade. So my mom has been a backbone, but she's always told me don't depend on nobody. Get it the way you get it how you live. Most people don't understand what that means. But if you do, you do. Like I'm a hustler. That's what I do. So whether I have to hustle a 9 to 5, whether I have to hustle, doing whatever I'm doing, I'm gonna do it. So most of these kids like today, their parents are like, I don't want you to live or be raised the way I was raised. And they got that titty in their mouth and they don't know how to do shit. They don't know how to wash, they don't know how to cook, they don't know how to clean, they don't know how to do nothing. And I think that is what's fucking our generation up under us. I'm scared, bro. Ain't gonna be
Listen,
nobody to take care of us.
you you ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. I'm like, I'm afraid. I'm
I'm
honestly afraid
scared. I
because here's the thing too. We have such there's a generation, these newer generations that don't know how to do basic processes of things. And so you you know, for me, it's like then there's going to be even more concentrated power to the handful of people that do know how to do this. And where are they going to shift us towards too?
right.
How is this thing going to move when there's so many people without like basic skills, like you said, just washing clothes? It's a world of, you know, it's like the old days when it'd be like the TV, the microwave TV dinners, and now we're in just a new stratosphere of that kind of idea. People don't know how to do shit.
Right. I learned how to cook when I probably was 9 or 10. I was ironing my mama, my sister, everybody clothes for school, work, all that shit since I was 9 or 10. My auntie Elaine, God bless her dead, when she get up for work at 7 o'clock in the morning and she got to leave out the house at 7:45, bitch, we was up cleaning. But by the time she left, everything was clean. Our bed was made, everything. We cooking breakfast for ourselves. And bitch, you better not be laying in that motherfucking bed all day. Go out there and cut the goddamn grass, go do something, go play, go do anything. You're not sitting in that house under my mother air condition while I'm at work, working hard. These people, they plush. These kids be on this shit all day.
But my thing is too, like I don't have any. I've had this conversation with several people. I don't have any great memories. I had a Nintendo when I was a kid, when we were young. But my memories come from me being outside. Like
Right.
they're not like, it's not, I don't have a video game memory. I was like, I can't believe when I did this or whatever. It's always like, some dumb shit that we got into outside that means nothing. And it's those are the memories that I take with me. And so it's like
Florida. They don't remember drinking out the water hose when you get thirsty. They lock the door on your ass. Don't come in. Don't keep running in and out. That's how niggas learn how to pee outside. They pull they dick out of pee right on the side of the building. Hey, I'm telling you, you learned a lot, man. It's survival. It was survival for us, and we knew how to make it happen, man. Real.
I had this
soft.
we had this funky like back, behind the house, just kind of pavement. So it was a little messed up, but I had a rim. And so we have, we've been having 4-on-4 on this one janky rim. And it was like a bench for people like on the fence for people to wait for games. And don't let some girl come through because niggas out here scrapping then trying to be pretty.
Oh, just
Always.
for real.
Oh man. No, those are the best memories though. All of that,
Nobody can never tell me how I was raised and how I grew up. I had to fight my way out of shit, dog. Disagreement, you fight, tap that shit up, and y'all probably were playing in the playground the next day. Can't do that shit no more.
Nah.
Fools be embarrassed. I used to dust niggas off, boy, no problem. Pop, pop, pop. Hit her with that 2-piece and a fucking biscuit. For real.
I'm sure some of the fans have seen you fight a little bit.
Hey man, that shit was like, it was like watered down because you remember when I was fresh on that shit and I slapped shit out the white boy the first episode. Like I ain't know I wasn't supposed to slap him that hard, but hey, y'all take care of that boy. I'm finna go home.
Oh man.
That was my whole biggest thing about being on the show. Like when it first started, like I was so raw. Like you couldn't like tell me what to do or nothing like that. My reaction was more than anything. And I guess that what made everything like it was because you can't really tell me what to say, how to react, or nothing like that. And I wasn't really supposed to be there that long. I got fired off like the second or third episode. And that was it. I was going home with my little check. I was good. I'm a hustler. So once after all that, and they called me back, I was like, the fuck? They want me to be me? Because it was just crazy, The only thing was different because, I couldn't keep my name. I was working somewhere else. So when they gave me, the name, it just stuck with me. So when people call me Bernice all the time, I stick with it because that's who they know. And I'm good with that shit. I'm all right. I get so much respect at the career because a lot of people didn't understand that. I think I was blessed with that situation because shit, I wasn't working that summer. I got blessed with that shit. So it was good for me. Nigga had
it's funny though, you talking about it because I just see like sometimes I'll see in your mentions, people in Latin America, people in Europe, the Brazilians always want to shout out Boa tarde, a gente no Brasil. Everybody, the show has kind of taken off into different places. So it's always funny because I just think back. I mean, it was 10 years ago when we were just grinding on that show. It was 10 years ago now. We were grinding. Like people don't know.
We still popping. Back then, I was gung-ho as fuck. I'd jump off a plane with no parachute, throw the parachute out the plane next. Like, I didn't care. Like, nah, bitch. These bones ain't working like they used to. I still knock a bitch on the head, but these bones ain't working like they used to, dog. You just got to call a spade at this point. So when people ask me, y'all ever coming back on? Y'all ever this? Y'all ever that? Man, if True TV had sense back then, they would have kept that shit on. But boy, them niggas dry. They worse than a desert dick right now. So I ain't even.
Well, and the thing was, I know that this is where they made a mistake. They wanted to move into cheaply scripted sitcom world, and that's what people thought they were going to move into. And what they realized, I think, pretty quickly is that they had a good following where they were,
Well,
and that like it's not as cheap as you would think to have good scripted sitcoms. Like
right.
that is a specific skill that is hard to get on the cheap as well. And so they kind of messed that up, along with other things behind the scenes, which
Not for everybody to know.
but like I really do think they pulled the plug just too quick, because then everything went, this was right before videos would go viral. It was like a year or two right before all of that kind of Instagram short video craze. And now that thing it feeds itself.
Yeah, but that shit like real life. You're not good until you die. When that shit died, it got greater. You know what I'm saying? It got greater. It's like people praise the dead, and that's what happened with that shit. Like, even I went to Italy after that, man. I got so much love over there. You remember when I was in Vegas, I was gambling in Vegas, and they showing it on every screen. People walking by me. I'm like, bitch, give me some money. I don't want you know. But all in all, just being there and being that, people may think I've changed, or I still do the same shit I've been doing, because I'm born and raised in Miami. You know what I'm saying? I stayed in Tennessee for 5 years, but I'm born and raised in Miami. So it's kind of like I went to one of the greatest high schools in America. No, it's the Bulls, but like I say, born and raised in Miami, it's kind of different, because people don't respect stars or musicians or nothing, but the respect these people give me from Miami, it's kind of like I see bitches cry right now today when they see me. I be pumping fucking gas, like, let me get 5 on 5. No. They be still trying to take pictures of you at the gas station and just talk to you and everything like that. So that shit cool, bro. And you was there with me for most of the leg of this shit. So
I was trying to remember how you and I started kicking it. I mean, because I have the worst memory in that kind of sense. I just
me, you, and Jerome, the three black sheep on the motherfucking, you behind the cameras and making sure everything good, and me and Jerome sitting there. Listen, that nigga was fancy. He was pussy fancy. He done got married. He done settled down. He got him a little baby. That little baby running him crazy. He got to do everything. But it was just like energy for me.
yeah.
You was outspoken. If something wasn't going right, I was like, he said exactly what I would have said if I was over there with him. Like, I was cool with that, and we linked up, and that was it. Another story.
That was it. Yeah, that was a good time, man. That was I mean, we used to that's I always tell people, and I probably said it on here before, like, one of the best things was if we had, for as many hours, people don't realize we'd be shooting 12 to 15 hours, sometimes even more. Like when we did the fashion show, that was like that was like 2 18-hour days. But the people that were cool, it's like family. Like Max, like there's certain people and you just like, oh, that's family. Like the people that were family, we were a tight knit group that was kicking it on when we weren't shooting. We were just kicking it. Like we were just kicking it all the time. Whenever we could link up and get together, we'd drink after shows. We'll go to a comedy show, anything.
That was a family-oriented type situation. I fell in love with everybody on the camera, even the goddamn gophers, the people who was doing the snacks, the food, everybody who was calling and making sure we was good. I fell in love with everybody. And, we always family,
It's funny to me because it started out for me the first season. I had several interviews, and I interviewed with the executive producers of the show, and I was like, they had never sold anything before, and this was their first show, and I was like, it was all these other bigger shows. And I was like, you know what? There's something about this. And so they told me 6 months. It was going to be 6 months in Miami. And then it was like 4 years later.
Oh, right. Right. So it was kind of like I say, for me, when they brought me back, I really didn't know how to receive that shit. It was kind of like, I'm gonna just tell you how the people who I knew growing up, when we first saw the first episode, I was at one of my friends' house. I swear to God, they laughed at me, laughed at me, laughed at me, laughed at me. I ain't never went around that shit no more. That's number one. Number two, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. So I really never went around there. So, a few years later, it's calling you, tell everybody I know you. Tell people I know you. I don't mind. I do that shit. I FaceTime kids. I be out. I FaceTime people from the club. Like, why the fuck is you got your kid trying to talk to me while I'm drunk? But yeah, I FaceTime people. I do all that stuff. But it's kind of like I always tell people, there's no me without you. And that's what a lot of famous people don't understand. They can shit on people all they want, but without the fans, without the people watching, without the people buying shit, you wouldn't be there if it wasn't for them. I don't care what nobody say. And that's how I'm gonna stand on that shit right there. So I always try to give people the whatever they looking for, except if you're trying to take me home. It costs $1 million to take me home, okay? Just so y'all know that.
You'll take a $500,000. She lying.
Right. I'll take 250,000 too. Hey. But yeah, but other than that, man, I try to give the people the love that they give me. Because at the end of the day, like I say, I done seen people and that I'm Beyonce, if you listening, baby, all I need is you to like pee somewhere and I don't care. Oh, but back, yeah, no, but for real. Like it is what it is, man. If I see people, I show them the love that they show me because it be overwhelming sometimes. Like, don't catch me in the bathroom, bitch. Let me wash my hands first. I'm very cleanly. I love my fingers. I love my hands. You don't see these shits, Will. I got the black tips for the niggas. I'm always black right there. But yeah, just showing love to people that show love back to me. Because without them, there's no you. And there ain't no other way to say that shit.
Well said. Well said. Well, appreciate everybody. We will be back next week for another KK's Corner.
We out here. Hey, y'all make sure y'all take care of your community. Make sure y'all get into these meetings and tell the cops why they fucking with us the way they fuck with us. Whether you white, black, Hispanic, Haitian, Cuban, it don't matter. Make sure they respect where you came from. Respect the people that you love. And let's make it out safe because we got a long life to live. Peace.